side of no-knock warrants. A no-knock warrant is a warrant that allows law enforcement officers to enter a property without notification. They don't have to knock, ring a doorbell, or even announce that they're cops, because the U.S. Supreme Court said that in those circumstances, when police have a good reason to suspect that announcing their presence and intentions may be dangerous, futile, or result in the destruction of evidence, a no-knock entry is justified. One of the main reasons why we Americans buy guns is for self-defense, especially self-defense against home invasions. As a gun owner, if I hear banging on my front door and then I hear the door being smashed in as a group of guys with guns and plain clothes storm into my house, I'm grabbing my gun and defending myself. Then I'm going to call up my concealed carry insurance provider, USCCA, and tell them that I'm probably going to be needing a lawyer.
Interesting is that, and I was tweeted this, NRA, nowhere to be found. Dana Lash, Grant Stinchfield, Colin Orr, all the people who was on NRA TV, nowhere to be found. It was a black judge who released Kenneth Walker. The cops again tried to charge him with attempted murder. He is a law-abiding citizen, has a permit. He was defending himself. I'm glad this DA did this, but again, where are all those Second Amendment people standing up for a black man?
We already know, Roland, that the Second Amendment in this country does not count if your skin is black or brown, period. And we've seen this time and time again. This is one of those tragic cases where we would have hoped that someone who is a card-carrying and legal gun owner was able to receive some types of protections for literally being in his home and defending his girlfriend. Like, there is a point where all of the conservative rhetoric falls apart, a point where all of the NRA rhetoric falls apart, because at the moment when they should have stepped forward in terms of arguing for the support of someone, we consistently watch it fail if the person is not a white man who is doing it. So it's bothersome to me that the NRA still pushes all of the protect yourself. We're using the right to bear arms. We want to make sure that everyone is a legal gun owner and everyone has the right to carry and everyone has access and open access to guns legally. However, when you're in a situation and you're a minority who has this same legal right to defend yourself under the Constitution of the United States, everything seems to be flipped. And those spokespeople, those people who you mentioned earlier, are silent as church mice. We've seen it time and time again. At this point, I just want African Americans to understand that in this country, the NRA, the Second Amendment, apparently does not apply to you. And we've seen this over the course of time. And I don't think it's going to change anytime too soon. Those folks, when they talk about gun rights, they're talking white gun rights. They are not talking about you.
Thank goodness, Greg.
Dear Roland and other bitch-ass liberals like him, stop begging the NRA. It makes us look like bitch asses. Every time there's a shooting unjustly by the police, or when a black person does something stupid with their guns, Roland stutters and does his Porky the Pig thing and says, where the NRA at? And I'm confused because if you do a simple Google search and you go on Roland Martin's channel or any other black liberal, when it comes to black people in NRA, it's F the NRA. They don't care about black people. They supported gun control with the Mulford Act. It's all these things that black people say. And I'm like, let's concede to that point. They're a racist organization. They don't mess with black people. Concede to that point. Instead of every single time a black person has a situation that's unfortunate, or when we do something stupid with a gun and we say, where's the NRA? We don't say, where's Huey P. Newton? We don't say, where's NAGA? We don't say, what is the Black Congressional Caucus going to do? We're supposed to be the most powerful, largest caucus in Congress. We don't ask about Al Sharpton. We don't ask about Jesse Jackson. They also say, where's the NRA too? So people who are largely anti-gun, who use their channel and their platform to bring on other anti-gunners to trash the NRA, are the same people who are asking for their help. And you think about that. Would you want to help a group of people that vote against you and your interests, that constantly demonize and attack your organization, and say you have control over Democrat blue dogs who vote to support gun laws in their country because their constituents want that? Make this shit make sense. At this point, I wish we would concede to the point, and when dumb people do things with guns, every black gun group I've been, and I really like standing them, and we gotta stop calling them black gun groups because shit is retarded. But every black gun group I'm in, when the NRA is brought up, it's literally followed by the four-letter epithet, the NRA. Right? Every time. So I'm like, cool. Everybody throws up Huey P. Newton or NAGA, which have absolutely no political power. But I ask this question again. If an organization that you demonize, you said you don't care about white people, don't care about black folks, or don't care about gun rights for black people, if that's your first call when some stuff happens, if that's your first thought process, where are they at? Why are they standing up for us? How powerless and weak are you as a people that the institution that you say don't fuck with us and you don't fuck with them is your first thought to call out? You would think at some point you would start your own group that actually has political power, not groups that are just you paying $5 for a newsletter. I have no problem. I'll join NAGA my damn self. But they have no political power. In fact, I remember Roland Martin had a segment with the Moist dude coming on, mad at NRA because they had the insurance. This insurance policy is what black people need, because we're the one that's always going to jail for dumb shit like we took our gun from Philly to New Jersey and didn't know the gun laws didn't match. Or we get pulled over and we have the proper guns and the proper bullets, but we're working out that our company issued us, and some dickhead cop decides to arrest us and take our gun. Or you forget your gun in the car that you're only supposed to have going to and from work because you got scared that your little cousin and little niece came in the room. Mind you, the NRA addressed all these cases and helped all these black people who would still be in jail or in trouble if it wasn't for their help. Roland never mentions that. None of these black outlets ever mention any of the black people who would literally be in jail or would not have ability to carry if it wasn't for their help. And I'm still waiting for someone to show me when has the NRA ever gotten involved in an active shooting in the case before the case was closed. I'll wait. White people get shot by the cops too, unarmed with guns and whatnot. I haven't heard them come out and defend. I live in New York, and there's been cases when people have broken into people's houses and the homeowner shot the person. Well, because I live in a bitch-ass blue state, the criminal got rights, apparently. And there was questions about the dude going to jail because the dude was drunk who broke in, and the guy said, "Stop going towards my wife." Dude didn't listen, and he shot him. And that dude got arrested in trouble for that. He ended up getting it all cleared up eventually. But the NRA didn't jump out the window and go for that case, fight for them. And I'm sure that stuff like that happens all the time, and we never hear about open cases. So if we admit that the NRA don't fuck with us, and we don't fuck with them, then please stop begging them for their help. It's pathetic. And I think it's corny too, because you don't even want them to be successful and to succeed. Back to the point I was making before I got off track. Roland Martin did a segment a few years ago where they were upset at the insurance card, which a lot of black people should have. People say, well, Philando Castile was a card carrying, he had a CCW, he had weed in the system. Those two things don't go together. Not saying that they would have spoke if he didn't, but right there, that violates his concealed carry card. You cannot smoke weed and lie on your application, say you don't do drugs or whatever, and have a concealed carry permit. In fact, many of the black liberal states that are giving you marijuana cards are at the same time taking away your ability to have a gun. You cannot have both. But if he had that insurance, absolutely they would have to had spoken out. Absolutely they would have had to send a lawyer. Hell, the insurance is like $300 a year. You get counseling. You make the phone call, call the cops, be like, call the card. The card tells you to repeat what's on the back of the card. I feared for my life, blah, blah, blah. They send counseling for you. Damages are paid for if you're found like not in trouble. They send the lawyer out for you, and they send the crew to clean up your house and clean up the blood. Don't you think that's something that black people should invest in? If we know that we're a liability when it comes to guns in this country. But no, we don't. We just expect help without giving even membership or even signing up. Again, if you were a member of the NRA and you don't like how they handle Philando Castile situation, cool, leave. But most of the black folks who are complaining ain't never been a member. And most of the black folks complaining will ask, where were you at when we do some shit stupid with a gun? I don't understand that. concede to the point. Stop begging the NRA. You don't fuck with them, they don't fuck with us, right? Leave it at that. Call on Huey P. Newton and NAGA gave statements. And what good are those statements? They said how they felt about the situation. The crazy thing is, Roland always calling out Dana Lash. He's always calling out Cody Noir. Cody Noir did a video about the young lady who was shot, the no-knock warrant. Cody Noir did a video about the brother Ahmaud Arbery and gave his legal analysis as a lawyer. But Roland couldn't wait. He thinks he can dictate when other people speak out or when they get to things. Huh? How does that even work? Killer Mike tried to tell black folks, yo, let's go take over the organization and let's move in there. And what happened to him? All of black media got in his ass. All of the black liberals roasted him. Everybody talked about and uninvited him to the picnic because he tried to make a valid point, like, yo, they want their guns just like we want ours. So if we want to have a say-so, we want them to speak out, we got to get in the organization to do what we can do. Now, I personally don't believe that works. We saw what happened with the Women's March. They tried to take over them white women's things, and the white women said, you know what, you take this, we'll leave. And then Linda Sosai, Tamika Mallory, and Carmen Perez, where they at now? That's over with. It should have been like a third, fourth march by now, outside of Corona, but it's not going to happen because their term is up. But before the term was even up, the organization said, we moving on. And then they sabotaged it by telling other people don't donate and don't send them any money no more. That is a problem. We go on people. That's why it makes sense why other people don't want us in their group, because we don't have the luxury of being one-issue voters. And we try to go into a group and it says, this is our mission statement. This is what we about. And you go in there trying to move around their furniture and change it around. And they're like, nah, you keep this, we'll go do something else. Or be like, nah, we don't want you in here because our issues is guns. We're not talking about any inequality. We're not talking about money. We're not talking about water and Flint. We focus on guns. If you can't deal with that, then don't come in our organization. I respect that. But the reality is we can't. Every organization we go through, no matter what it's about, we're going to bring all our liberal bullshit with us. And that's the problem. But that's it. Roland and other black male Democrats, stop begging the NRA. It's pathetic and it's sad. You've made it clear. I've been in enough black gun groups, literally, where a handful of people be like, yo, what's up with the NRA? Would you join? Blah, blah, blah. Why did you join? Are you in it? And it's unanimous. It's fuck the NRA. All right, cool. And they can say fuck you too.
The NRA can't stand this president. They don't like this attorney general. And also, they despise the ATF. We can go all the way back to Waco and the whole issue with the Branch Davidian compound. And so the NRA, I mean, look at how they have effectively blocked a real leader to lead the ATF. Look how they attack them at every moment. So the NRA does not want there to be a federal agency when it comes to the dealing with the issue of guns in this country. That's who they are. So it's no shock they are involved in this case because they want to bring this AG down. And like you said, these crazy conspiracy theories, put them with the 9/11 truthers and the birthers and everyone else as total crackpots with these theories.
Hogan, what's your response to that? I mean, some of these theories I've heard are truly absurd.
Right. I mean, look, there's so many things Roland touched on there for me to respond to.
Yeah, but what about the theories? Hold on. What about the specific issue of some of these theories that the Obama administration actually did this whole operation hoping that one day it would cause a problem for guns and they could use that to get to gun control? I could think of a heck of a lot better ways to get to gun control.
I forgot one of the reasons people were marching was against the actions of police, but you won't hear the National Rifle Association say a damn thing about police brutality. And was also amazing, you hear the NRA all loving the Second Amendment, but clearly in that ad, totally ignoring the First Amendment. Let's go to the Accord Women's March co-organizer.